What's up creators, welcome back for another video. In this one I'm going to review 6 USB mic. Now there was a couple of things I wanted to do with these USB mics. My criteria was that they are under $100, but I did get one which is more than 100 only because this one is the most talked about USB mic, and that's the Blue Yeti USB mic right here. This was $129 on Amazon, and I'll have links to all of these mics in the description. If you click through one of my links, I do get a small commission, but that does not affect the price that you pay to Amazon. So all of these are from Amazon. Another condition I had was that each mic should have at least 100 reviews and above 4 stars. So all of these mics have over 100 reviews and have more than 4 stars for rating. So I'm going to start with the one that I currently use. That's my trusty Blue Snowball Ice Condenser microphone. And we're not going to get too much into the technical details of vocals because I am not a vocalist. I don't do any technical audio sounds. I'm going to stick to how do I sound while talking to this mic at this distance, and then also I'm going to move it a little far and let you hear how I sound when I move it a little far away. And then also I'm going to do the same on my Mac. Right now I'm recording this on Windows because Windows and Mac have different audio drivers, so that might affect the sound quality a little bit. So you can hear it for yourself and see which one sounds the best. And then the last test I'm going to do is I'm going to enable a coffee shop sound on my Spotify app on my iPhone here, so you can hear that what it would sound like if there is some background noise. Do these mics do a good job of cleaning out that background? So without further ado, let's get started. You've already heard me what I sound like when I'm using this mic, which is the Blue Snowball Ice Condenser microphone. Let me go quickly to Amazon here and show you. So this is the one that we're currently talking about. 1900 ratings and over 4 stars. So 4.3 stars, 1900 ratings. And this one is pretty inexpensive. It's $49. And all these mics are USB mics, which means they are simply plug and play. You don't have to install any device drivers. You don't have to do any special tricks. You don't need an amplifier for it. You just plug it right into your computer and you start recording. And whichever device you're using for recording your screen and or mic, that device, whether it's a Mac or a PC, should pick it up as an input. So this is the one that I'm talking on right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this video for a second, move the mic a little farther away from me, and let you hear what that sounds like. Alright, so now I have the mic moved a little farther away from me. I want to say this looks like 12 inches ish away from me, and you can hear what this sounds like. So the next step is for me to enable some coffee shop sounds and see if this mic picks up any of that background noise, so to say. So let's try that now. Alright, so I have my Spotify app going right here. It's got some coffee shop sounds playing, and I have it about 25% volume, and I don't know if this mic is picking it up or not. We'll obviously find that out post-production, but this is just so you can hear what it sounds like when you have some background noise. So what I also wanted to do is go back here, and I'm going to review these mics in the order of what they cost from least expensive to most expensive. So we just started with the Blue Snowball, and now I'm going to move on to the Samson Q2U. Let me turn off the background noise. Okay, I've turned the background noise off. I've moved the mic closer to my face now, so about 2 to 3 inches away. And before I move on to the Samson Q2U handheld one, one more thing I wanted to show you was, so I have a scissor arm that my mic is connected to, and this also came with the pop filter, which you can see right here. So this is the pop filter, and the pop filter essentially is used to block out some of the harsher sounding annotations almost. Again, I'm not a vocalist, so I might be saying this wrong, but kind of like the p, t, those words disperses the sound because it has a couple of net meshes, and it disperses the sound evenly so the mic doesn't catch all of that. And that's the reason to use a pop filter. And again, I'm using this arm which is connected to my desktop. I have like a standing desk. The arm has this almost like this clamp right here, and that clamp is connected to my standing desk. So now we're going to move on to the next one, which is going to be the Samson Q2U handheld mic. This is what my Blue Snowball, the OG mic, the one that I've been using for a couple of years, sounds like on the Macbook Air. I'm going to move this a little far back so you can hear what it sounds like with it's like 12 inches apart from my face now instead of having it right up in my face. Oops. And then let's start the sound here. Now one thing that I had invested in was Crisp, which was on AppSumo, and Crisp supposedly drowns out any background sound. So I'm going to try that out. I have Crisp app here, I'm going to go ahead and do the blue snowball and mute the noise, and what that should do is mute the background sound that is going on right now, the coffee shop sound. Let's move this closer and see if you can hear me clear. I'm going to turn this off, see if that makes a difference. Turn it back on, and let's compare the two and see what happens. And we'll move on to the next mic, which is the Samson Q2U. Before I move on to the Samson Q2U, I want to show you what this looks like. I just unboxed this, and it comes with this cool mic. It's pretty heavy. It feels solid in your hand. Feels like you're a performer. Comes with a little mini tripod here, so you can kind of screw this right here. Hopefully. Oh, actually it goes here. So it comes with this little mic stand, so you put the mic clip on, and then you can kind of just slide the Samson Q2 in here, kind of just like this. And then also, having a hard time doing it, maybe I'm doing it wrong. And then also it comes with the USB cable. Now this isn't the USB-C, it's the regular USB cable right here. Hopefully you can see that. And then on the bottom of it, you have three things you can do. You have the mic one, where you can plug in your mic, the USB cable, and then you also have this little headphone jack, so you can plug your headphone jack in here, and then your regular three-point plug if you're plugging this into amplifier. And then it also comes with this little pop filter of its own. So if I remove this, this is what it looks like, and then it has the on-off switch, and then here's some volume control buttons right here. So I'm going to get this set up, and then we'll be back to finish this video. Okay, so I have the Samson Q2U connected to my computer, and right now I'm on my Windows desktop, and you can see it's kind of close to my face. I did notice, because the mic itself is so heavy, on my newer arm, the scissor arm, when I try to tilt it like this, it just falls down. So I have to keep it almost like so, and then move the arm down. Just something to note if you're working with heavy mic. Now here are the three outputs I was showing you. So it has a USB output, a headphone output, and then an XLR output. The XLR will again go into your mixer, and then these are the things that are in the box. You have the tripod clip here, you have your pop filter or windscreen, and then there is also an extension arm here, and then a USB cable and the XLR cable. So this is what it sounds like right now. I'm going to move this a little farther away to see what it sounds like when I move it a little farther away. Okay, so I have it about 12 inches away from me, just like I did with the blue snowball, and this one on Amazon is $49.99, and then it comes in two colors, silver and black. Now what I'm going to do is activate the Spotify app, and we have some coffee shop sounds going on in the background, and we'll see if this mic picks it up. Most of these mics that we will be reviewing today are omnidirectional, which means no matter which way you record, it's going to catch that sound. And other than the Blue Yeti, I think the Blue Yeti has 4 different settings to choose from. So that's it for this one. I'm going to now connect this to my Mac, and we'll do the same test there. So we have the Samson Q2U connected to my MacBook Air mid 2012, and using the built-in driver. I haven't updated my operating system in a long time, so I don't know what this is going to sound like. Let's see what operating system I'm on. I'm on the Mac OS Sierra 10.12.5, and here it is right up in my face. I'm going to move this a little farther away, see what that sounds like, and then we'll go with the coffee shop sounds. So one moment. Alright, now we have the Samson Q2U about 12 inches away from my face. I'm talking straight, so I'm talking to the camera. The mic is kind of to the right of me, and if you're looking that way, probably to the left of you. And then let's go ahead and start that coffee shop sound again on Spotify. Again, most likely you are in a quiet area, so this shouldn't be an issue, but I still want to see what kind of sound the mic is picking up. It's probably going to pick up everything that is happening in the room. So with this, we're going to move on to the next one. Alright, moving on, we are now going to review this little guy right here. It's the MAONO AU-A04 carotid mic for podcasting. Now this just comes with one input as compared to the Samson Q2U, and here's the cable for it, and it also comes with its own pop filter. And this cool thing here, it's like a magnetic stand that you can use. You can put your mic in here, and then it catches it with the magnet in there. So I do love their packaging, and I'm going to put a photo to show you how the packaging was. And right now It says on Amazon this is October 9, 2019, that you can save $3. So instead of $54, it'll be $51. And it has good ratings, 226 ratings. Right now you're hearing me on probably my Logitech C930's mic. I'm gonna get this connected, come back and see what it sounds like. Alright, so I have the MAONO connected now, and it's the AU-A04 USB mic. It does come with its own pop filter, which is right here, and I have mine on top of it, so I can actually get rid of this one. And it also comes with this pop filter arm that I had. So here's what comes inside the box. You can see on this image right here, it comes with the pop filter, comes with the scissor arm, it comes with this holder, the cool holder to put your mic in. The scissor arm has this kind of like the clamp. Also, it comes with a super long USB cable, about 98 inches, and then supposedly it has a really high sampling rate, 192 kilohertz per 24-bit. I don't know what that means. But let's test this out and see what it sounds like. I did notice when I plugged it in, and I'm using Screencast-O-Matic, it did not give me the name of the brand. It just gave a generic Realtek audio USB, and I had to unplug it to see which one would disappear. And then when I plugged it back in, I realized, okay, that's the audio source to use. So just keep that in mind when you are plugging it in. If you have multiple sources plugged in, it might be hard to differentiate which one is this one. So what I'm going to do now is move this a little farther away and see what that sounds like, and then we'll go back to the coffee shop sounds. Alright, so I have it about 12 inches away from me, and this is what it sounds like. I have, again, in a quiet room in my walk-in closet. I'm going to activate the coffee shop sounds. Again, the coffee shop sound volume is about 25%, and we'll move on to the next mic. I'm excited for this next one. It looks small and mighty. It's the Samson Meteor USB mic. So let's move on to that. Before I move on, as usual, I forgot that I have to do this on my MacBook Air as well. So now I have connected to my MacBook Air. Same thing when I connected, I'm using ScreenFlow on my MacBook Air, and it did not recognize the name. In fact, it didn't even say Realtek this time. It was just a generic name. Something to keep in mind. This is what it sounds like right up in my face. I'll move it a little farther away, and then also start the coffee shop sounds. Okay, so now we are about 12 inches away for the MAONO mic. Again, remember, this is just a USB mic. All I had to do was plug it in, and let's get those coffee shop sounds going. See what that sounds like. This will give you a good idea of what this is going to sound, whether you're near the beach, in a area where you cannot control the sound, and hopefully this will be a good solution for you. Now we can move on to the Samson Meteor mic. So that's coming up next. Stay tuned. Okay, we're moving right along here. Right now I have this cool little thing called the Samson Meteor mic. Literally in the box there are two things, the mic and the USB cable and a small carry bag. I have the USB cable here, I have the mic here, and this mic has these three little stands that open up to give it its own built-in tripod. And then you also have the headphone jack and the USB jack right here. And this looks like a volume rocker in the front. So I'm not going to use the USB stand. What I'm going to do is close this. Now, one thing that I did notice is if you don't want to use it, the USB plug is right here, so I cannot close this third flap, or I will not be able to use it on my scissor arm. So I'm going to have to leave this open, connect it to my scissor arm, and then start recording. Right now you're hearing me probably on my Logitech C930's built-in mic. So let's get this connected and we'll see what it sounds like. Okay, so now I am recording on the Meteor mic. Again, this is a USB mic. I think this volume rocker might be for the headphones, because right now it's all the way down, and now I'm gonna move it all the way top, like all the way to the right, and increase the volume to the fullest. But I don't think that's going to do anything unless I have the mic connected to it, or sorry, the headphones connected to it, which I don't. I can see compared to our MAONO one, the bitrate on this is quite low, 48 kilohertz, and I think that one was 192 kilohertz. So we'll see what this sounds like post-production. Again, right up in my face, I'm going to move this back a bit and let you hear what that sounds like, and then we'll move to the MacBook Air. Alright, so I have it about 12 inches away. This is what it sounds like. Let's go ahead and get started with our Spotify coffee shop sound, and probably he's going to pick it up. Again, this looks like an omnidirectional mic where it's going to pick up sounds from all across. And we will now move on to the next one, which is probably the most talked about mic in any Facebook group that I've been part of, which is the Audio-Technica ATR2100. I'm really excited for this one. Let's see what it sounds like. Alright, Before we move on to the ATR2100, I have the Samson Meteor mic connected to my MacBook. Again, very close to my face, and this is usually how I make all my recordings. The mic, if you have seen my YouTube videos, is right here in my face. I feel like that gives it the best quality and clarity. And I've noticed that I am not really, when I talk, I don't open my mouth too much. So I want the mic to be able to pick up any sounds I make. And I'm going to move this a little far away. So here we go, about 12 inches away. Maybe I went too far. That seems about right. And let's get the coffee shop sounds going. I don't think there's going to be a big difference between Windows driver and Mac driver, but that's what these tests are for. And you let me know what you think is the best mic of all the sounds that you're hearing. Coffee shop sound off. We will move on to ATR2100 on Windows first and then on the Mac. Okay, moving on to Audio Technica ATR2100. Before I plug this in, I wanted to show you the bottom of it looks quite similar to the Samson Q2U that we saw earlier. So you have the XLR output, you have the USB, and you have the headphone jack. And then one more thing you have here is the volume rocker. So I think this is for volume up and down. And then another thing I wanted to mention about this one is it did not come with a pop filter or a windscreen that goes on top of the mic. For being a little more on the expensive side, I thought that it would come with that, but it didn't. So let's get this connected and see what it sounds like. Okay, so ATR2100 is ready to rock and roll. It's connected, it's on. I see the blue light right here. There's an on-off toggle switch right here that you can use. See, great reviews, 1857 ratings. And what's the star? Almost 4 stars, 4.2 out of 5. Doesn't get better than that. Actually, it does with the Blue Yeti, but I have high hopes for this one. So let's move this back a little bit. So now I have it about 12 inches-ish away from my face. Again, this is just for testing. You're probably not going to have it that far from your face. And you have the coffee shop sounds going. Now I will connect this to my MacBook Air, see what that sounds like, and then we move on to the final one. Thank you for sticking around. We're going to move on to the most expensive one of the 6 that I decided to invest in, and that's the Blue Yeti. So let's move on to that now. Before we do, I want to let you know, thank you for watching this, and if you have any comments on what other mics or cameras you'd like me to test, please feel free to mention them in the comment below. I want to be able to help you make the right decision so your online course or your podcast sounds the best it can for your users. So let's move on to our MacBook Air. Here we are on my MacBook Air mid 2012, and that's the model or year when I bought this. I have the ATR2100 connected. It seems when I kind of heard myself on the Windows one, it seems pretty decent. Now I don't have the technical terms of what decent means, maybe bassy voice. I don't have a bassy voice, so technical terms for it, but I did like what I hear. Let's move this a little far back. Here we go, and now you can hear what this sounds like, kind of pushed away from me. Maybe you have multiple people recording on the same mic, so this might come in handy where you have it a little far away and people are able to record at the same time. Turn the coffee shop sounds on, and I'm assuming again this is going to catch everything because all the mics so far have been omnidirectional where you catch sounds from all across. Let's move on to our last one, which is the Blue Yeti microphone. See what that sounds like. Thank you. The final mic we're going to review today, and that's the Blue Yeti Blackout one. Now I bought this for $129 on Amazon, but what you can do is to get this, knock the price down to like $105. You just select this option here. I'll have the link in the description below. This one is mic plus game bundle. For some reason that's $105.99. You would think that should be more, but it's less. And the sheer reviews overpower all the other mics we've tested so far. 7,611 reviews. That's just insane. A few things here before we get started, because I'm going to have this on the scissor arm and then I won't be able to show you what's on the mic. On the front here you have a mute button, so if you wanted to, while talking, if maybe there's a loud source coming, you can hit the mute button and that will, you just press it in and it puts it on mute. You have the volume button for your headphones. At the bottom you have your USB. This is to put it on your scissor arm, boom arm, and then also your microphone input right here. And then this is pretty interesting, which none of the other mics have had. So gain, what reading through the manual, what I've understood is gain controls the sensitivity of the mic. So if it suggests that you start in the middle and then you can put the gain to left or right, higher or lower based on how much ambient sound is in your room. So this is going to be interesting to test with the coffee shop sounds. And then lastly, these 4 options here, and I'm going to read through their manual to tell you what these 4 options are. First one is stereo, and stereo they suggest is great for vocals, let's say vocals, ensemble, choir, or instruments. So that's when you keep it on the stereo mode. And the next one, which you will be using mostly and I'll be using, is the cardioid mode. It's C-A-R-D-I-O-I-D, cardioid. That's how I pronounce it. It's mainly for podcasts, for voiceovers, for vocals, and for instruments. So this is one person talking into the mic, recording a podcast episode. That's what that's for. And then omnidirectional, as the name suggests, is picking up sounds from all directions, and that it says is great for conference calls, field recordings, and events / orchestras. And then finally is bidirectional. Bidirectional is great if you have two people in the same room recording a podcast or you're doing an interview with someone. So that's the last option here. That's bidirectional. It says it's great for interviews, instruments, and the last one is vocal duets. So that's bidirectional right there. Let's get this plugged in, see what it sounds like. Alright, we have made it to the final mic, the Blue Yeti USB microphone. I have it connected right now and I have it on the cardioid setting, which means that one person talking into the mic. Now, a couple of things to note here. It does come with this stand that I'm not using because for our test I wanted to make sure every mic is being used in the same way. So for this particular test to be successful, I have connected it to my scissor arm. But the stand is pretty heavy duty. I just don't like to keep anything on my desk because if I hit my desk, it's going to pick up that sound. This way this is hanging in the air and less likely to pick up sounds when you're touching things. So that's one thing to note. Second, it did not come with a boom, pop filter to cover the mic. So I have my pop filter that I already had. But if you don't have it and if you're going for this mic, you are probably going to need, if you want to use a pop filter. If you don't, that's up to you, but I would suggest you use it and you get a pop filter. It's like $5 or $7 on Amazon. So those are the couple of things I wanted to let you know. Now before I move this mic back, what I want to do is go through all the settings. So right now we are on setting number 2, which is, I'm currently at omnidirectional. Let me just check. Yep, I'm at omnidirectional right now. This is where I want to be. I want to be on the cardioid setting. So this way it only picks up my sound, and if I'm snapping my fingers behind the mic, it shouldn't be as loud as when I snap my fingers up here. If I go back to the omnidirectional and if I'm talking here and snapping my finger in the back, it's probably going to pick up both those sounds. Next is bidirectional, when you're talking to someone, you're doing an interview. So let's move to bidirectional. Now there is a logo in the front, the Blue Yeti logo, and that's the front of the mic. So when you're setting this up, like I have it in the air, make sure the logo is facing you and that's the front of the mic. So right now we have it at bidirectional. So if I'm talking here, and I have a person that I'm interviewing, they should be able to talk in here as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist this around a bit. And as I'm twisting it, the sound should go in and out. And now it should record me from the other side as the second person you're interviewing or your podcast host. And then the final one is stereo. Now stereo, it says, is good for vocals. So let me put it on stereo. I moved it this way. I've lost track of what stereo logo looks like. Okay, so it's these two things right here. Alright, so in stereo, again, I'm going to move it back to its original position and see what that sounds like. This is stereo mode. So let's go back to cardioid and I'm going to move this mic a little far back. Okay, this is stereo. I think I didn't move the knob all the way. The knob is a little hard to move. So this is stereo. I'm going to turn the mics to see what that sounds like in stereo mode. Turn it back around. And now let's go to cardioid and then I'm going to move the mic. Alright, so the cardioid mode is this little symbol that looks like a heart almost. And that's cardioid mode right there. And that's what I have the mic at. I have the logo facing me. I'm going to adjust the pop filter a little bit. This back. Okay. It keeps wanting to fall because it's heavier than the arm that it's on. But it's okay. You can use the stand that it comes with, which is very, very heavy. So you should be good with that. Now I have it 12 inches away. Now let's test the gain. So for gain, what it suggests is if you have background noise, turn the gain counterclockwise. So I'm going to start the coffee shop sounds and then the gain is in the back. Alright, I'm going to turn the gain counterclockwise to see if this is going to filter out the background sound. So the gain is been turned counterclockwise all the way as far as it can go, and I don't know what this sounds like. We'll find out in a few minutes. And then I'm also going to now turn the gain back in the middle. So that's gain back in the middle, and now I'm going to turn it clockwise to give it some more sensitivity. So it's going to probably make that coffee shop sound louder because it's going to amplify any sounds around you. And then let's turn this off. bring this guy back here, turn gain back to where it was, and let's connect this to our MacBook Air to see what that sounds like. I've been saying see what that sounds like, but let's hear what that sounds like. Alright, let's get that connected. We are on the final mic on MacBook Air, the Blue Yeti, and this is the USB mic. We've already done the Windows comparison. Let's see what it sounds like on MacBook Air. I have it right up in my face, very close, and what I'm going to do is move it a little far back. And this one's pretty heavy for this kind of scissor arm that I have. Now I'm not going to go through all the settings that we already did on Windows. I'm simply going to move it back a little bit and see what that sounds like. And let me make sure that I have it on the cardioid setting. I have it gain. Okay, let me bring it back here for a second. So gain is in the center. It wasn't before. Now I'm going to move it back and keep the gain in the center. Stop falling, you mic. Okay. Let's turn Spotify on. Let's go with gain counterclockwise. So decrease the gain a bit and see if that drowns out the coffee shop sound. And then bring it back in the middle. So gain is back in the middle. And now I'm going to bring it all the way with high sensitivity and do the same while bringing this closer to me. So right now gain is set to be super highly sensitive. I'm going to bring it back in the middle. Hopefully you can see this in the camera. And now I'm going to move it counterclockwise to see what that sounds like. One thing I did note is when you plug the Blue Yeti, let me turn this off. When you plug the Blue Yeti mic in, let me bring gain back in the center. So when you plug the Blue Yeti mic in, it defaults to mute on, and there is this little red light in the front, and if that red light is flashing, that means mute is on. And I had to re-record this entire video because I thought the flashing red light means mute is off, but it's the other way around. So if it's solid red, that means mute is off. If it's flashing red, that means mute is on. So just keep that in mind. Thank you so much for watching this video, sticking around with me. Please hit the subscribe button, put your comments below, and let me know what you thought about it and what other mics or cameras you'd like me to review. I will see you on the flip side, and keep on creating.